Hello, this is Mr. Collier, and today we are calculating the original number when the percent is known. So in the first example, we have 20% of a class wears glasses. If 10 kids wear glasses, how many students are there in the class? So 20% wear glasses, and that's 10 kids. Okay, so we can say that 20% of the total is 10. What we can do here is we want to get to 100%. That'll tell us how many kids are in the class. So one thing you can do is multiply by 5, and you'll get 100% is 50. Okay, so there are 50 students in the class. There's another way you can do it. If 20% of the class is 10, we can say that there's X kids in the class, so you can say 20% of X is equal to 10. So writing this as a fraction or a decimal, I can write it as a decimal. So I can write this as 0.2 times X equals 10. And to solve for X, I can divide by 0.2. And 10 divided by 0.2 is 5. One way you can do that is you can make the denominator 1 by multiplying by 5, and we'll have 50 out of 1, which is 50. So you get the same answer either way. In the next example, we have the area of Lake Winston is about 75% of Lake Albert. So here's Lake Winston, and Lake Albert's a bit bigger. Okay, so Lake Winston is 75% of Lake Albert. So we could say that Lake Winston is 75% of Lake Albert, and we'll call that 100%. And the area of Lake Winston is 36,000 kilometers squared. What is the area of Lake Albert? So we have to find the area of Lake Albert. It's obviously going to be bigger. So we need to mathematically solve for this now. So we have 75% is, so we can do my method from before, 75% is 36,000. And we want to get to 100%. Now we can't multiply directly right now to get up to 100%, but what we can do is we can divide by 3, and we'll get 25%, which is easy to get up to 100%. So if I divide by 3, I will get 12,000. And then to get 25% to 100%, I can multiply by 4, and we'll get 100% is, we'll multiply this by 4, and we get 48,000. So we can say Lake Albert is 48,000 square kilometers. So we could do that another way as well. We can call the area of Lake Albert X. That means that 0.75 times X equals 36,000. Okay, 0.75 times the area of Lake Albert equals 36,000, and then just divide by 0.75. Okay, if you do that on the calculator, you'll get 48,000. You can do that without a calculator too, because 0.75 is just 3/4. So that equals 36,000 times 4/3. So again, you're going to have to divide by 3 and multiply by 4, which is exactly the operations that we did over here. So if I divide by 3, I'll get 12,000 here. And 12,000 times 4 is 48,000. Just like we had with method 1. In example 2, we've got 48.5% of the town of Mulberry are males. There are 27,000 males in Mulberry. So one way we can do that is we can let the number of, so this is how many total people are there in Mulberry. We can let the population of Mulberry equal X. That means that 0.485 times X should be 27,000, because we need to multiply 48.5% by the total population to get the number of males. So then we can divide. And for this one, it's a bit complicated. I'm going to use my calculator for this. Okay, so on the calculator, I'll just do 27,000 divided by 0.485. So doing that, you'll get 55,670. Okay, so you get approximately 55,670 people in the town of Mulberry. Okay, next final example. Aaron's salary was increased by 5% this year. His salary is now 47,250 euros per year. What was the salary last year? So he had a certain amount of money. We don't know how much his salary was before. Then it was increased by 5%. And now he's got 47,250 euros. Okay, so obviously this number should be a little bit less. How much less? Well, we can't actually just get 5% because this is 5% of the original. So we don't know what that is right now. Let's call it x. And to increase by 5%, you can multiply by 100% plus 5%, which gives you 105%. Okay, which is 1.05 as a decimal. To increase by 5%, we multiply by 1.05. So what's happening here is we have 1.05 times x equals 47,250. Alright, so the original amount is increased by 5% and it gives you the new amounts of 47,250. So to solve this equation, we divide both sides by 1.05 and we'll get the original amount. So let's take 47,250 divided by 1.05 and we get 45,000. So 45,000 euro is his original salary.